Hi guys, let's see how do we actually factorize a quadratic function. In order to start factorizing a quadratic function, we need to know how do we expand two linear factors into a quadratic function first. So let's see here, we have x minus 4 multiplied by x plus 3. If we expand one by one, we will be ended up getting x times x, x squared, x times positive 3x. Negative 4 times x will give us negative 4x. Negative 4 times positive 3 will give us a negative 12. So therefore, you can see here, if we simplify further, we should be getting x squared. 3x minus 4x will give us negative x. And then negative 12 is still negative 12. So therefore, this is our quadratic function. In order for us to do factorization, basically, we are going to reverse the whole process so that we can go from quadratic function back into two linear function. So let's see how do we actually do that. So if we have x squared minus x minus 12, how do we actually go back to the linear function? We have two brackets. This x squared, if you look at it properly, this x squared is actually from x multiplied by x. So therefore, we can have two multiplication, x times x, so that we can get x squared. This 12 is a multiplication also. If you look at here properly, this 12 is actually generated from the 4 multiplied by the 3 that give us 12. So therefore, we also have to make sure it's a 2 multiplication of 3 times 4 so that we get the 12. The middle one is a tricky part because the middle one is a combination of two terms multiplication. So you see, this is a x times 3 that will give us 3x. This is giving us 4x. So 3x and 4x, we are going to do some addition and subtraction. We are going to do some addition and subtraction that gives us the final answer of negative x. So therefore, we have 3x and 4x, but we need to get negative x by inserting some positive and negative sign. How do we do that? We have to make sure we put negative 4x plus x, so that we will be getting negative x here. So that means in front of 4, we should put negative. In front of x, we should put positive. That's how we can go back to our original two linear factor. Okay, the steps here basically summarize whatever we just mentioned here. So it's better for us to start with the example so that you can understand clearer. So let's see example number 1, where we need to factorize x squared plus 2x minus 63. So let's start off with opening up two brackets. Next thing what we are going to do is to think of x squared. What are the two multiplications that will give us x squared? So we will say is x multiplied by x because that's the only way. Next thing, we look at the last term. Also, we have to think of two multiplication that will give us 63. So we can only think of 7 multiplied by 9. 7 multiplied by 9 will give us 63. So therefore, this will be our last term. Next thing we need to look at is we are going to combine this. 9 times x will give us 9x. 7 times x will give us 7x. We are going to use these two to help us to find the middle term here. So here, let me write down. We have 9x and also 7x. And we want to make sure we put some positive and negative sign in front of the two terms so that we will be getting the middle term, which is a positive 2x. So in order to get a positive 2x, definitely we need to put positive 9 minus 7x so that we can get positive 2x. So therefore, you have to put in front of the 9 a positive and then in front of the 7 a negative. So therefore, this will be our answer, but we must do the final check by having this negative 7 multiplied by a positive 9. Do we also get a negative 63? Yes, we do. Therefore, this is our final answer. So basically, to summarize, you need to make sure that the first term, we use multiplication. Last term also we use multiplication, but then the middle term we have to use the combination of 9x and also 7x together with the addition and subtraction concept in order to get the middle term of positive 2x. Let's see our second example to understand even better. Second example is slightly more confusing, so you might want to refer back to the example 1 first before you want to proceed with the example 2. So let's look at example 2 where we have 5x squared minus 23x plus 12. Again, we will start with two brackets. And then what do we do next is think of multiplication of 5x squared. So we can only have 5x multiplied by x, that will give us 5x squared. Next thing is again is the multiplication of the 12. So in this case it is a bit tricky because we have a few factors that can form a multiplication of 12. For example, we can have 1 times 12. We can also even have 2 times 6, or we can also have 3 times 4. So which one should we put? It really depends on our experience, and also sometimes you might require some trial and error. So therefore, let's see, we'll try to put 2 and 6. So let's see, if we put 2 and 6, we will get 12. And then let's look at the middle term. We will be having 30x and then 2x. So 30x and 2x, is it possible for us to get a middle term, which is a negative 23x? This is impossible. No matter what we put for plus and minus, we won't be still able to get the negative 23. So therefore, this is not a correct option. Let's say if I put 6 and also 2. If I do 6 and also 2, this will be giving us 10x. This will be giving us 10x. This will be giving us 6x. So 10x and 6x, again, we are not possible to get negative 23x. So which means from here we know that 2 and 6 is impossible for us to form the factors. So again, we have to try and error. So why not we try something else? For example, why not we try with the 5x and also x, we should try like for example 3 and 4. So let's look at how do we form the middle term. Here we have 20x here, and then we have 3x here. So 20x and 3x, we need to form a negative 23x by inserting some positive or negative sign. So let's see, how do we form negative 23 from 20 and 3? Yes, it is possible. We can just put negative 20x and negative 3x, that will give us negative 23x. So therefore, in front of the 4, we should put negative. In front of the 3, we should put negative as well. So therefore, let's check the final term. We have negative 3 multiplied by negative 4. Do we have a positive 12? Yes, we do. We really get a positive 12. That means this will be our final answer. Let me write it again in case it's a bit too messy. So therefore, our final answer will be 5x minus 3 multiplied by x minus 4. This will be our full factorization. Just to recap again, we always start off with the first multiplication, 5x squared. What multiplied by what will give you 5x squared? Again, 12. Last time also we think of multiplication. What multiplied by what will give you 12? And then we think of the 10x here and also the 6x here. How is it possible for us to get a middle term? By using addition and subtraction. And we need to get a negative 23x at the end. You try a few times, then you will be able to understand it clearly.